Children, now what we are going to see is, we are going to see one sum whereby which we are going to find out mean by all the three ways. Right? I want you people to understand when I have given you one sum and I have written over here direct method, assume mean method and step deviation. For a simple reason, I want you people to understand the difference between the direct method, the step deviation method and the assume mean method. What extra columns getting added from direct to step deviation to assume mean. This is what I want you people to notice. Moreover, if you look at our question, then our question is on grouped data. Our question is on grouped data. Ungrouped data, arrayed data is what you all have done in your lower classes. Right? So in your lower classes is what I have explained. Right? In our lower classes what I have explained, the mean for ungrouped data, arrayed data. So here in this particular class, what are we going to do is, we are going to see for group data. So let me start with the sum and make you understand all the three one by one, so that you can understand the differentiate, or rather you can differentiate from your side what lies difference between all the three. Below is the given distribution of money in rupees collected by students for flood relief fund. Find mean of money in rupees collected by student. So given to us money collected, number of students. So money collected in rupees 0 to 10, there are 5 students. 10 to 20, 7. 20 to 30, 5. 30 to 40, 2. And 40 to 50, 6. This is a group data given to us. And we are supposed to find out what? We are supposed to find out mean of the given data. First, direct method, assume mean method, step deviation method. We start off with the first one. Children, this is nothing but our class interval. This is nothing but our class interval. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. What next? Class mark. In your lower classes, you all have studied. What is class mark? Class mark is nothing but midpoint of any class. Class mark is nothing but midpoint of any class. So how to find out the midpoint of any class? Absolutely, lower limit plus upper limit by 2. In order to find the midpoint of any class, you always take lower limit. This is the lower limit. This is the upper limit by 2. So when I say 0 plus 10 by 2, 10 by 2, answer is 5. Next, 10 plus 20 by 2, 30 by 2, answer is 15. Now children, I have given this technique in my lower classes also. The same thing is what I am telling you. We need not go and calculate every time in this way, 20 plus 30, though the meaning is the same, that whenever you want to find out class mark xi, we need to say sum up and take the arithmetic mean of lower class and upper class. Take the arithmetic mean of lower class and upper class. But I have told you in my lower classes, and I will tell you right now also, kindly check the difference between the 2 consecutive lower class, or for that matter 2 consecutive upper class. What is the difference? 10? That what should be the difference in my class mark also. That should be the difference between my 2 consecutive class mark also. So I need not calculate every now and then 5, 15, 25, 30, 35. As simple as that. As simple as that. I'm sorry, this is 45. This is not 35, this is 45 and this is 35. I'm really sorry. This is 35 and this is 45. So it is 5, 15, 25, 35 and 45. Number of students, Fi, 5, 7, 5, 2, 6. We have written from the question itself. Now we say, what is summation Fi? Summation Fi. Keep on adding. 5 plus 7, 12 plus 5, 17 plus 2, 19 plus 6, 25. So my Fi is, summation Fi is 25. Right, people? Last one. Fi xi, dot product of Fi xi, Fi is this, xi is this, 5 5s are 25, 15 7s are 105, 25 5s are 125, 35 2s are 70, 45 6s are 270. Right? Now we need to go for summation Fi xi. Fi xi, summation fi xi, 25 plus 105, 130, 130 plus 125, 130 plus 125, 255, 255 plus 270, or rather 255 plus 200. How much is that? 255 plus 200, 455. 455 plus here 70 and here 70, 140, 595. 595. You can do it from your end. I have done it from my end. Right? When you sum up 25, 105, 125, 70, 270, ultimately we get answer as 595. Now in direct method, we have only one simple formula. What is it? Mean, which is always denoted by x bar, is summation fi xi by summation f. That is fi. I is nothing but the reading, children. If you are thinking that what is I, xi, I, over here, I is nothing but the reading. First, second, third, the intervals what we get it. Right? Summation fi xi by summation fi. Summation fi xi, 595 by 25. 5 5s are 5 1s are 5, 5 1s are 5, 5 9s are 119 by 5. Now children, I will give you one simple technique. Whenever you have division by 5, I have said this in many of my slides earlier also, but I'll say once again here also. When you have division by 5, I'll give you a very simple division. Please do not go and do actual division. Please don't do actual division. What you need to do is double the numerator and put a decimal from right to left. Double the numerator and put the decimal from right to left. So double of 119 is 238. 238. And put a decimal from right to left. Right to left. We don't write down in single decimal. We always say in two decimal. So 23.80 without doing any calculation. 119 divided by 5 is 23.80. That is what my mean x bar is. That is what my mean x bar is. Any problem, children? Right? So what did we do in direct method? In direct method, we just went with, so how many columns are there? First of all, notice number of columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the first column, we have class intervals. In the second, xi, which is class mark. Third, the given data in terms of frequency. And finally, fi xi. And what is the formula? Mean x bar is summation fi xi by summation of fi xi here, fi here. Just calculate, get the answer. Very simple, children. Students mostly prefer this one. If not given to you, find mean by so and so. Normally within the question, any board will always give you, they will state that find mean of the data given to you by so and so method. They will always specify. If not specified, then it is you who are free, completely free to do it from your end. I have said this earlier, right? And given a choice, students go with this. They can go with either of them if not mentioned. Let's start with the next one. I want you to remember how many columns here? 4. Now if you check how many columns do we have over here? 5. And I want you to go beyond this. How many columns do we have here? 6. Why am I telling you this? Because I have seen students on the final day, final hour, when they are writing down the paper, they forget how many columns is what they are supposed to make in assumed mean, in step deviation. So we will understand everything. Here, the first one, class interval. Here also, class interval. The second one, class mark. Here also, class mark. So first, let me jot down the class mark. The class mark remains the same as our question is the same. Class mark remains the same. So answer is going to be 5, next 15, next 25, next 35, next 45. Any problem, children? That remains the same. Now, who is the new entrant? My language. Who is the new entrant? The new entrant is DI. The new entrant is DI. What is DI? It is nothing but xi minus A. Now, what is A is what I'm going to make you understand. A is nothing but assumed mean. What is A? A is nothing but assumed mean. Come on, children. What is A? A is nothing but assumed mean. You have to assume it from your end. That's the reason the name given is assumed mean method. That doesn't mean that when whatever you assume will be the answer. That is an assumption. Then we have a formula. We have a system to work out, right? And we'll reach to the final answer. So what is A? A is assumed mean. Now how to take assumed mean from our side? Assumed mean is nothing but any mean from the class mark or any data from the class mark. Most preferred is always the class mark of the middle interval. What I mean by saying is, if I say 20 to 30, how many class intervals I have before this? 2. How many class intervals I have after this? 2. So which is the middle class interval? 20 to 30. So most preferred assumed mean is this. Now there are many people who are having a question. So I have written assumed mean as A here. So what is the question going on in your mind? Sir, in our raw data, the number of intervals were odd. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was very easy for you to say that take the third interval and the assumed mean, that is the class mark of the third interval as assumed mean. So it was very simple from my side also. I can say that it was very simple from my side to say take the class mark of the exactly middle class interval. But what if the number is even? Say 6, 8, 4. Children, then you are free to take any one of them. So for example, say it is 6. Say for example, it is 6. Then there is no middle class, right? 3 above, 3 below. So there is no middle class. So either the class mark of the third interval you can take as a assumed mean, or class mark of the fourth interval you can take as assumed mean. I reiterate. Here the class interval was odd, 5. For 7 it is easy, for 5 it is easy. But what about 6? What about 8? Then I'm answering it that you can take the assumed mean of class mark of the third interval, if the classes are 6, class intervals are 6, third interval or fourth interval. Either third interval or fourth interval, right? We proceed with our question. So what is our assumed mean over here? Our assumed mean is 25. So I'll just write down here A is 25. What is here? A is, here A is 25. Now what is DI? Xi minus A. I do have Xi minus A. So 5 minus 25 minus 20. 5 minus 25 minus 20. 15 minus 25 minus 10. 25 minus 25, 0. 35 minus 25, 10. 45 minus 25, 20. Number of student, summation Fi. We know that's 25. We know that's 25. Now Fi Di. So who is the new entrant? How to remember the last column? I'll tell you a simple way, my language. Who is the new entrant? The new entrant is Di. So it is Fi Di. Here it was Fi Xi. Whosoever is the new entrant, the last column will be Fi and that. Whosoever is the new entrant, the last column is. Why? Because you can check the same. So who is the new one? New one is Di. So the last column is Fi Di. Whosoever is the new entrant, last column is Fi dot that one. So what is Fi? 5 into minus 20. 5 into minus 20, answer is minus 100. 7 into minus 10, minus 70. 5 into 0, 0. 10 twos are 20. 26 are 120. Now I need to have summation Fi Di. Here we had summation Fi Xi. Here we have summation Fi Di. We need to sum it up. Though there are negative, we have to take that into account. So let's start. Minus 100 minus 70 is minus 170. And let me take the positive numbers. 120 plus 20, 140. So on one hand we have minus 170. On other hand we have plus 140. What is the net total? Minus 170 plus 140 minus 30. So my summation Fi Di is minus 30. Those who are thinking that can we have minus? Surely, why can't you have? Are you getting me? So we went with summation fi di. What is the next step? How we had here fi xi by summation f, that was the formula for mean x bar. Now our formula for x bar mean is not the same. What we need to do is, first of all, what we need to do is, whosoever is a new entrant is what we are going to find out, d bar. So how to find out d bar? Summation fi di upon summation f. Summation fi di upon summation f, that's d bar. Here we had x bar, summation fi xi by summation f. Here we have fi di, so summation fi di by summation f is d bar. So what is summation fi di? Summation fi di is minus 30 by summation f 25. Children, I hope you are getting it. Right? Phi is a phi 6 a. Is it 6 by 5? Division by 5. What? Double the numerator. So 6 2s are 12 with a minus sign, mind you, and put a decimal from right to left. So minus 1.20. Minus 1.20. So let me say d bar is minus 1.20. This is not mean, this is d bar. We are yet to come with the formula for mean. What is it? Mean is equals to mean x bar, that remains the same. The formula is a plus d bar. What is the formula for assume mean method? The formula for mean is a plus d bar. What is our a? A is 25. What is our a? 25. D bar plus d bar, but my d bar is coming negative, no issues. Minus 1.20. 25 minus 1.20. 23.80. Mean x bar. Same answer, children. Same answer. So once again, a very quick revision. Class interval, class mark. Who is the new entrant? Di. And how di can be found out? Xi minus a. What is a? Assume mean. How can we take assume mean, and from where to take assume mean? Assume mean should be taken from class mark. If the number of intervals are odd, we'll take exactly the middle interval. But if the number of interval is even, then either the exactly above the half or below the half. Right? Thereafter, fi di. Summation fi di. Whosoever is a new entrant, d bar is equal to summation fi di by summation f. Answer. What is the formula? A plus d bar. 4 columns, 5 columns. Who is the new entrant? D bar is the new entrant. We'll move on to the next one. What is the next one now? Step deviation method. What is the next one? Step deviation method. Can I write down something which is same? What is that? Can I write down the class mark? 5. Can I write down here 15? Because we are aware about it. This is 25, 35, 45. Here also we have di. Here also we have di. So don't you think so that step deviation has all the columns of assume mean? Let's check. How many columns, children? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who is the new entrant? So let's check. Same. Next, same. Again di. Same. Who is the new entrant? New entrant is ui. So the last column should be fi ui. New entrant was di. The last column is fi di. New entrant is ui. We are going to see that what is ui. But last column is fi ui. So I shall write down di. Absolutely the same. Why? Because step deviation has completely assumed mean within it. So I need to say the same over here. A assumed mean. A assumed mean. Here in our question, here we are taking A as 25 children. We are plotting it, or rather we are marking it here also that this is my A. Same thing here, no change whatsoever. So it is minus 20, here minus 10, here it is 20. Sorry, this is 0. I'm just copying it out. 10 and 20. Any problem? Now comes ui. Now what is ui? Di by h. So what is h? Let me highlight that. H is width of the class. What is h? Width of the class. What is width of the class? We are aware. If not, I shall tell you right now. Difference between the lower limit and upper limit of a class. Difference between the lower limit and upper limit of the class. 10 minus 0, 10. So here, what is h? Here, h is 10. Here, h is nothing but 10. Any problem? Let's work out. What is ui? Di by h. So, minus 20 by 10, h is 10. Minus 20 by 10, minus 2. Minus 10 by 10, minus 1. 0 by 10, 0. 10 by 10, 1. 20 by 10, 2. Fi remains the same. Summation Fi, it's 25. The new entrant, FIUI. FIUI. 5 2s are, that is 5 into minus 2, minus 10. 7 into minus 1, minus 7. 5 0 into 0 is 0. 2 1s are 2. 6 2s are 12. Sum up, children. Minus 10, minus 7, minus 17, plus 14. Is it minus 3? So summation FIUI is minus 3. Here it was minus 30. Here it is minus 3. Even you can cross check. Minus 30 by 10 would have been the answer. Everywhere we did the same. So here also minus 30 by 10. Minus 3 should be the answer. Right? Now what? Now what? Whosoever is the new entrant, we find out that bar. Here it was D was a new entrant. We found out D bar. So here it's a time for U bar. U bar is summation FIUI by summation F. Summation FIUI by summation F. What is summation FIUI? Minus 3 by summation F, 25. What according to you the answer should be? What according to you? If you want, you can work out. If you want, you can work out. I can give you a oral answer, but I want you people to work out. This is 25. This is 3, 0.1, 25, 5, 0. So 0.12. I could have taken it from here, and I want my children to do so. It was minus 1.20. If I would have divided by 10, as we did, we are supposed to divide it by h. So everywhere we are going to divide it by h. So I could have directly said this, minus 1.20. I want you people to realize this. I want my children to realize this. And if they have realized before me saying this, very good. That means you are learning. That means you are learning. So answer is minus 0.12. Minus 0.12. Now comes the formula. So I can write down once again here, U bar is nothing but minus 0.12. U bar is minus 0.12. Now comes the formula for mean. Mean is equals to X bar is A plus HU bar. What is the formula for mean? The formula for mean is A plus HU bar. A, we are aware, 25 plus H is 10. But U is minus 0.12. So, plus of minus, minus 10 into minus 0.12 is minus 1.2. I shall say minus 1.20. So, 25 minus 1.20. Ultimately, we are left with 23.80. That's what mean is. X bar. No matter what you take, answer has to be the same. Last time, first refresh this. Class interval, xi, di, which is xi minus a. New entrant, ui is di by h. Number of students, that is fi, fiui. How many columns? 4. How many? 5. So this is what, if you remember, I want my children to remember in this way. How many here? 4. And what are those 4? Class interval, class mark, fi, frequency given from the sum, fixi. Summation fixi by summation f, mean. Who is the new entrant? Di. So first column, class interval. Second, class mark. Third, di, xi minus a. Assume mean. I said n number of times what should be taken. Next, fi. New entrant, fi di. So what is the formula? First, d bar, fi di by summation f. That is summation fi di by summation f. Then mean is equals to a plus d bar. How many columns? 5. How many here? 6. Who is the new entrant? ui. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Class interval, class mark, di, ui. ui. Number of students, fi, ui. Summation fi ui. So first u bar is equal to summation fi ui by summation f, or you can say summation fi. Summation ui fi ui by summation fi. Minus 3 by 25, minus 0.12. U bar, what is the formula? A plus hu bar. Right? By this time I hope my children have understood. Reason behind this, I am not going to solve many sums of each of these type. I want my children to do so. I want you people to do so. I have given you in depth between 3. I have given you the difference also. Right? I want you to solve every single sum by either of the 3 or at least by 2 method, so as to cross verify and so as to learn. Don't do it when you are practicing. I'm not asking you to do in boards, but when you are practicing, and if being given by solved by any one method, try and do one more by some other method, so that you practice more and more of these kind of sums and you get to know, and you will never forget how many number of columns should be there. I hope my children have taken completely, right?